So welcome to the Monday evening Master Yoga class. Tonight we're going to talk about Ayurveda and the 6 different tastes. So in Ayurveda, we are always looking at food and how we can help people come into balance, right? And everything boils down to the elements. So we have what's called the doshas. That's your physical constitution that you were born with. And the doshas were made up of the elements. So vata dosha is ether and air. Pitta dosha is mostly fire, tiny bit of water. And then kapha dosha is water and earth. And everything on the planet is made up of the elements. We are no different than nature. So everything is always boiling down to the elements and the qualities of those elements, and that includes our food. And this is a very interesting topic because when we look at taste, we're looking at how food goes in and how the initial taste is one thing, and then there's an effect, a short-term effect, and then there's a long-term effect. So here's a perfect example. If you eat a hot pepper, it's going to have a certain taste and it's going to instantly heat up the tissues in the body. And so your body has a chemical reaction to that food and it's going to metabolize. And the long-term effect of that for a lot of people is if they eat too much spicy, they can end up with diarrhea, loose stools. Like I've even had clients that will end up having burning. It comes out burning. It's not just diarrhea, it's burning. So that shows you that that food item is reacting to the body in a certain way. Now, if I'm a constitution that is made up of earth and water, which is cool and heavy, then spicy food would be really great for me because it's going to stimulate. My issues would be more those issues of stagnation. So we're going to talk about the different tastes. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about how Ayurveda is looking at it. And I'm doing these talks as a way to help you see that Ayurveda is a really, really expansive science, very expansive. And the more I learn, the more I realize, wow, there's so much. There's so much. It's just like regular Western medicine. You have general medicine, and then people specialize and they become experts in certain areas. Well, the same thing applies in Ayurveda. So each taste reacts to the body in a unique way. I like made notes. And then we understand in Ayurveda that all foods and the 6 different tastes either are going to take your body into balance or take your body out of balance. And we're looking at a scale, and I talk about this scale with people. Food's either going to land hot, neutral, or cold, or somewhere in between. And those things are really important. And we don't consider that in the West. We go, oh, it's organic and it's good, it's healthy. But it might actually be taking you really out of balance and causing serious issues. If you're eating foods, like say you are dealing with depletion and you are eating foods that are going to cause more depletion because it's drying you out, then you are actually going to exacerbate your imbalances. You're going to cause more depletion. And that's organic, healthy food, but the wrong kinds of food. Okay. So all foods digest, metabolize, and absorb and affect the body, all of them. And we're looking at, I'm going to go into the details because I already explained, but we look at how the food has a particular unique effect. So it's just like when you go to the doctor and you get a prescription for something, that particular prescription is going to specifically address a certain part of the body. Well, food does the same thing. And a perfect example is cranberries. When you get a bladder infection, you'll see a lot of people run down to the store and get cranberry juice because cranberry is known to help with urinary tract infections and bladder infections. There are 3 effects of Ayurveda, of the tastes have in Ayurveda that we're going to look at. The first one is flavor. And so when we first experience foods, That's going to affect our mental and emotional states. And this is kind of cool because I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of the food movies. There's the one that, oh, such a good movie, done in France. And it's about food. And if you look at people when they taste it, it's almost as if they're having an orgasmic experience sometimes. And that's truly how food can be. So that's the first effect. The second one, and it's emotional and mental, it's more emotional and mental, affecting those layers. The second one is one that how the food is affecting digestion. And then the third effect is the long-term effect, like I told you guys. So let's look at the different tastes. There's sweet taste, sour taste, salty taste, pungent, and also bitter and astringent. Those are the six, six tastes. So those are the different tastes. The sweet taste is a combination of earth and water. So that means that when you eat something that is sweet, and that means its long-term effect is sweet, its short-term effect is sweet. When you eat something that is sweet, it's going to ground, it's going to create heaviness, it's cooling, it's oily, and it's moist. It's going to promote feelings of love and friendship. It will increase your vital essence, so your vital reserves, your ojas. That's good to know. It promotes growth. It helps with plasma, muscles, fat, bones, the marrow, reproductive fluids. It's great for strength and longevity. However, excessive use of sweets aggravates kapha. So that means it aggravates earth. So if you already have a lot of earth and water, sweet taste is not appropriate for you. So it aggravates that kapha. And that means that it's going to cause more mucus in the body, like giving you coughs and colds, congestion, heaviness, loss of appetite. It can then lead to laziness, lethargy, and obesity. Examples of sweet foods are sugar, dairy, rice, dates, maple syrup. Okay, meats also fall into that category. Meats are earth. Okay, so the sour taste is a combination of earth and fire. That's our next taste. And it's heating, heavy, moist. It promotes clear thinking. It stimulates the appetite, improves digestion, energizes the body, nourishes the heart, enlightens the mind, and causes salivation. In excess, though, if you eat too much sour taste, it'll cause thirst. It'll cause your teeth to become sensitive. It causes quickness, like you can't stop moving around. It causes hyperacidity, heartburn, indigestion, and ulcers. Examples of sour taste are cheeses, vinegar, lemon, and fermented foods. So if you are kapha and you are pitta, you have to stay away from those, okay? Just stay away from them. Pretty much. Pitta can have a little bit. Okay, salty taste. Salty is delightful because it flavors our foods. It adds nice flavor within reason. So salt is a combination of water and fire. It's warming, moist, and grounding if eaten in moderation. And this is a key word for salt. We need it. However, you have to be really careful. It does relieve vata. So if you are vata, dominant vata constitution, which means ether and air, it's going to help you. It's going to help your nervous system. It's going to help with spasms, pain. It also maintains your electrolyte balance, and it promotes growth, improves flavor, like I said. It aids in digestion, absorption, and also elimination. Okay. However, too much aggravates pitta and kapha. It thickens the blood, causes hypertension, worsens skin conditions. So if you have any skin condition like acne, it's going to make it worse. Also rashes and things like that, it's going to make it worse. It causes water retention, heating sensation, ulcers, and bleeding disorders, hyperacidity. It can cause fainting. Too much will cause wrinkling and also baldness. Examples are obviously our table salt, Himalayan salt, sea salt, kelp, and then ocean fish. So fish, it's in the ocean, it's really salty. It's going to have a salty flavor to it, right? So you have to be careful. Okay, bitter taste, or let's do pungent first. Pungent taste is a combination of air and fire. It's light and dry. It has an effect, also heating too. It has an effect of enlivening, and it's more, it can increase passion and movement. You want to be careful with how much you eat as well. And you want to make sure, because it can cause diarrhea and other issues. It improves digestion, however, absorption, and cleans the mouth, clears out the sinuses, right? Pungent makes sense because that's spicy food. Clears out the sinuses. It encourages circulation throughout the body, breaks up clots, helps with elimination of waste, kills parasites and germs. So examples of pungent foods are peppers, onions, garlic, radishes, mustards, and ginger. All right, so again, you have to be really careful if you are pitta, because that can aggravate pitta. Okay. So bitter taste is the next taste. It's a combination of air and ether. Initially, it's cooling, but over time, the effect on the body is drying and lightening. So this is why you have to be really careful, because you can be eating bitter foods that are really beneficial, because say you have too much heat in the body, and so it'll initially cool you down. But if you go over the top with bitter and you're a pitta person, it'll start drying you out, like being too close to the fire, and it starts drying you out. So you have to be really careful in how you deal with all these foods. It aids in clear thinking, but it does increase vata. It decreases pitta and kapha. With pitta, you have to watch out for that long-term effect. It promotes flavor of other tastes. So bitter taste enhances other tastes. It's antitoxic. It kills germs. It relieves burning sensations, itching, fainting, and skin issues. It reduces fever, stimulates firmness in the skin and muscles. In small doses, it can relieve gas. It causes reduction in fat, and in bone marrow, urine, and feces. So if you have too much of that, it's a good thing. In excess, it depletes your plasma, your muscle, your blood, your fat, your bone marrow, and semen, reproductive fluids. It can also cause sexual debility, dryness, roughness, dizziness, and unconsciousness. Examples of this particular taste is bitter melon, turmeric, dandelion, aloe vera, and coffee. Okay, so coffee, be careful with your coffee. Okay, astringent taste is the last one. It's a combination of air and earth. It has a cool, light, and dry effect. Long term, though, on the body, it's slightly warmer. It instills straightforwardness, practical approach to life. So it gives you a really good attitude. And taken in moderation, it calms pitta and kapha, but it excites vata. It absorbs water, aids in healing of ulcers. It stops bleeding through clotting. Overconsumption can cause distension, so the belly getting distended. Drying of the mouth, difficult. So if you get drying of the mouth, it's then going to cause difficulty in speech. Heart spasms, stagnation in circulation, and constipation. It can cause vata, neuromuscular disorders. So you really have to be careful with the astringent taste if you are high vata. Vata imbalance or vata dominant constitution. You have to be careful with both. Examples are unripe bananas, chickpeas, so that means your hummus. Got to stay away from hummus if you're high vata. Green beans, okra, turmeric, and sprouts. Okay, so those are examples of the 6 tastes. And I can also go into the elements and how what types of foods are what elements. So examples of an earth element food would be wheat, rice, meat, mushrooms, root vegetables, and beans. Examples of water element foods would be dairy, juicy fruits, so lots like a watermelon, and coconut water. Fire foods would be spicy foods like hot peppers, cinnamon, clove, ginger, garlic, onions, sour fruits, alcohol, and tobacco. So it's not just food that you're eating, it's everything you ingest, okay? Air foods would be foods that produce gas, like dried fruit, raw vegetables, broccoli, cabbage, sprouts, nightshades, some beans like black, garbanzo, and pinto. So you have to be careful if you're a lot of air. You have to watch out for those foods. Ether foods. So ether means space. It's going to expand and spaciness. Ether foods are alcohol, narcotic drugs, marijuana, LSD, cocaine, and tobacco, right? And a lot of people who are high vata or have a vata imbalance are very attracted to those things. It's not a bad thing. It's just, it's a vata thing. Okay. So that's just our little interesting talk tonight on the 6 tastes in Ayurveda and how they influence our foods. So it's a lot to consider, and not just your imbalance, but also your constitution. Not only that, what time of the year is it? If it's winter time, you have to consider that. What foods are going to be appropriate for you in the wintertime? Your body's responding differently in different environments. It's responding differently at different seasons, and it's responding differently to different foods. So it's a super dynamic process, very exciting. And if you have any more questions, reach out to me because I'm always here for you guys. Okay.